Many people today are confronting a stark reality: the looming retirement crisis in America. Now picture this: a significant portion of our seniors, after a lifetime of hard work, find themselves barely scraping by in their golden years. Yes, you heard that right. Retirement, once seen as a time of relaxation and enjoyment, has become a luxury for many. So, this is not just about numbers. It's about the lives of millions of Americans hanging in the balance. We're about to shine a light on the crisis that demands your attention. Yes, that means you. Welcome to That's Life, I Swear. This podcast is about life's happenings in this world that conjure up such words as intriguing, frightening, life-changing, inspiring, and more. I'm Rick Barron, your host. That said, here's the rest of this story. At this time in our country, many people are navigating the complexities of single parenthood, with 2 kids under their care. Each week is a delicate balancing act that, for the lack of a better word, is juggling. Despite some people earning a comfortable salary hovering around, say, $80,000 to even $150,000, the relentless barrage of essential expenses leaves little breathing room. The juggling encompasses all the mundane necessities we all face: groceries, car payments, mortgages, medical bills, children's clothing, childcare, and the list goes on, not to mention tackling unforeseen financial hurdles. Many Americans' financial gaze is fixated on the present, where every penny carries significance. Nevertheless, some can't shake off the awareness that they're essentially deferring potential financial woes to the future. According to Business Insider, just over half of Americans over the age of 65 are earning under $30,000 a year. That's right, here in the United States of America, the greatest country in the world, $30,000 a year. Retirement plans languish on the sidelines, overshadowed by the pressing demands of the present. Forecasting for the future seems like an impossible feat. It's akin to a perpetual skirmish. Just when you believe you have a grip on it, another fiscal challenge arises. For many people today, retiring at 65 appears distant and improbable. The prospect of financial stability remains an ongoing pursuit, a journey fraught with the unexpected twists and turns. So let's talk about this impending retirement dilemma. Projections from the Bureau of Labor Statistics paints a very stark picture. The population of American workers aged 75 and above is poised to nearly double within the next decade, calling out a looming crisis in retirement readiness. Once considered a sturdy 3-legged stool, retirement savings in the United States had transformed big time. So let's talk about pension plans. The landscape now resembles a shaky balancing act, with traditional pension plans fading into obscurity. In the mid-1980s, approximately half of private sector employees enjoyed the security of a defined benefit pension plan. Fast forward to 2024, and a mere 15% are covered by such arrangements, and they're shrinking even more. Social Security. Oh yes, the big one. While Social Security remains a cornerstone, providing around 90% of income for over a quarter of older adults, its future is clouded by uncertainty. Social Security faces large and rising imbalances. Related to the size of the economy, the combined annual cash shortfall for Social Security will climb from 0.5% of gross domestic product in 2023 to 1.1% in 2034. Now, Social Security faces a 75-year imbalance of 3.6% of taxable payroll, up from 3.4%, as reported in last year's report. Without decisive action, it's slated for depletion by the mid-2030s, casting a shadow over the anticipated benefits of future retirees. Political gridlock has hampered meaningful reform efforts for decades. Now, Congress can make some decisions here, which, to be fair, may not make everyone happy, but doing something they are not. No one wants to be the bad guy. Fine, I get it. But making some tough decisions now instead of waiting until like around 2037, when Social Security will, by default, cause a 20% cut in monthly payroll? That's not working. Yeah, my money is on Congress that they'll take the easy way out. They're just too afraid to make the decisions. As a result of changes to Social Security enacted in 1983, benefits are now expected to be payable in full on a timely basis until 2037, when the trust fund reserves are projected to be exhausted. People, that's just 13 years away. The last one. 401k. Left standing is a 401k accessible to 68% of private industry workers, but utilized by only half of them. Larry Fink, CEO of BlackRock, sounded a loud and clear call in his recent annual investor letter, urging a considered effort among corporate leaders and policymakers to reimagine retirement in America. He warned that failure to do so risks upsetting younger generations from capitalism and politics. The economic anxiety felt among younger generations such as the millennials and Gen Z is unsurprising, Fink noted. They perceive the baby boomers generation as prioritizing their own financial interests at the expense of future generations. This sentiment rings particularly true in the realm of retirement planning. Now, Fink advocates for reevaluating the traditional retirement age and expanding access to investment vehicles and 401 plans as potential solutions. Now, such measures address societal concerns and align with BlackRock's vested interests, as over half of its $10 trillion in managed assets are earmarked for retirement purposes. For many Americans, saving for retirement feels like a distant dream, particularly as recent data from BankRank reveals that just 44% of U.S. adults can cover an emergency expense exceeding $1,000 from their savings. Now, that's if you have a savings account. The confluence of factors such as soaring inflation rates, the resurgence of student loan obligations, and the gradual depletion of pandemic-era savings has left many individuals struggling with financial uncertainty. Amidst this economic turbulence, a significant portion of the population has found themselves resorting to their 401k accounts as a source of relief in times of financial stress, often at great cost. According to a recent survey conducted by Vanguard, premature 401k withdrawals are on the rise, which come with very heavy penalties. Now, to put this in perspective, say you need $50,000. Well, you better take out $70,000 to cover the penalty fees. There are other saving options, but Delaware State University's professor, Nanita Das, says they are not enough to live off. Whether it is a pension or Social Security, people may think Social Security will pay for retirement, but it is just for meeting the bare minimum requirements. Social Security is to help you buy a McDonald's meal, says Dr. Das. While researching this episode, I came across an article regarding a 50-year-old single mother employed as a legal administrative assistant in Texas. Her journey, I think, captures the plight of many forced to dip into their retirement savings to navigate life's unpredictable twists and turns. The first instance occurred shortly after the birth of her son, when this individual, confronted with a job devoid of maternity leave benefits, faced the harsh reality of income loss. Returning home from the hospital, she was greeted by a letter from her employer, stating their unwillingness to preserve her position during her anticipated absence. All of a sudden, she found herself without work, with no support from her son's father. That's when she made the difficult decision to tap into her 401k to sustain her and her son while she searched for new job opportunities. Years later, she found herself in a similar predicament during a job transition period. With mounting expenses, a looming relocation, and lingering credit card debt, she once again turned to her retirement savings. Despite this person's resilience, they still find themselves caught in the cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, with now only $15,000 remaining in their 401k account. For this single mom and one son, the 401k serves not as a beacon of retirement security, but as a makeshift buoy in the very rough sea of financial uncertainty many are facing today. I would have to guess there are thousands of stories like this one out there. As the November elections draw near, the specter of retirement insecurity looms large in the minds of American voters. In a recent survey on CNBC, former President Donald Trump hinted at the possibility of scaling back Social Security and Medicare, suggesting avenues for entitlement reform. President Biden swiftly countered with a resolute "not on my watch," as echoed in a campaign-produced clip reacting to Trump's remarks. Caroline Leavitt, spokesperson for the Trump campaign, clarified Trump's stance, asserting that his remarks pertain to curbing inefficiencies rather than slashing entitlements. Sure, we know Trump. In December of 2022, the Biden administration ushered in Secure 2.0, aimed at incentivizing employers to provide retirement benefits and easing barriers to savings. Additionally, the administration proposed regulations to curb excessive fees in retirement investments, signaling a proactive stance toward boosting retirement security. Senator Bernie Sanders of Vermont sounded the alarm on retirement inadequacies during a recent hearing, highlighting the plight of seniors subsisting on meager incomes. He advocated for a return to the traditional pension plan, contrasting sharply with the investment-focused approach advocated by BlackRock's Fink. The American people are closely monitoring the rhetoric surrounding retirement issues from presidential candidates to local contenders. For some, putting money into a 401k is just not doable. Even those who have, say, a 401k nest totaling between $360,000 to, say, $500,000, well above the average, they remain acutely aware of its insufficiency. Expressing doubts about the feasibility of retiring comfortably, people intend to prolong their careers until at least 65 to qualify for Medicare. However, they harbor skepticism about any political candidate's ability to deliver a viable solution to the retirement problem. While it would be ideal for the situation to improve, many Americans are not optimistic at this point in their lives. For the majority of Americans, their hope is simply to prevent the looming retirement crisis from sinking any further. What can we learn from this story? What's the takeaway? Planning for retirement is not something you want to do shortly before you stop working. It's a lifelong process. Your planning will undergo a series of stages throughout your working years. You'll evaluate your progress and targets and make decisions to ensure you reach them. A successful retirement depends not only on your ability to save and invest wisely, but also on your ability to plan. How much income you'll need in retirement is hard to know and tricky to plan. But one thing's for certain. It's far better to be over-prepared than to wing it. Well, there you go, my friends. That's life, I swear. For further information regarding the material covered in this episode, I invite you to visit my website, which you can find on Apple Podcasts, for show notes calling out key pieces of content mentioned and the episode transcript. As always, I thank you for the privilege of you listening and your interest. Be sure to subscribe here or wherever you get your podcasts so you don't miss an episode. See you soon.